all of you if you want to yell at us. So I will invite the IAB to come up, and I think this is the right one. Nope. Oh, you'll fix it. All right. Oh, wait, there it is, page 29 of 34. I bet that's it. That's all right. So I want to remind people that the IAB did produce a report that we produce before every meeting about our activities and so on, and so that's up on the IAB website and was sent to the announced list and the IETF list. So if you have questions for us, you can also send those. We just mentioned that if you want to discuss things about the architecture, please send that to the Arch Discuss list. And of course, if you want to address the IAB, you can send at iab.org and we will receive that. So with that, I'm going to ask the members of the IAB to introduce themselves, and I'll start over here.
Brian Trammell.
Ted Hardy.
Dave Taylor.
Russ Housley.
Yari Ark.
Suzanne Wolf.
Heather Flanagan, not exactly IAB, but they don't know where else to put me.
Eric Nordmark. Robert Sparks.
Lars Eggert, what Heather said.
Lee Howard.
Joe Hildebrand.
Yeah, Martin Sullivan. I thought we were all Sullivans.
Okay, so this is the opportunity to ask anything you want of the IAB.
And the other people on the stage.
Yes, true enough.
Eric Klein. I had a few questions. The DMARC situation. Do you think there'll be a draft about operational guidance or whatever coming out of it? Or do you think there is our guidance already, we just need to follow it?
So if you're asking about what the IETF is doing about our own mailing list problems in DMARC, yes, then I think we're talking about an email that will be discussed, sent and discussed on the list rather than a draft. Okay. That's my understanding at least.
So there's no document that needs to be written about we were doing this the wrong way, or we should have been doing this all the time, or something like that to follow DMARC guidelines, or it's not
Barry, do you want to?
It was Barry Leba, one of the DMARC working group chairs. There is a document that says that outlines this issue. There are a number of suggested ways of mitigating, each of which has its problems, and we don't have consensus on a recommendation for what to do. And there is a alternative to the existing DMARC spec called ARC that may be a short-term solution for some of this for people who want to implement that. That's all I can say about it at the moment, but the bottom line is we don't have consensus on how to mitigate the problem without causing more problems.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
And just to be clear for the record, what the IETF decides is not the IAB's fault. That target is not anywhere on my body.
Well,
you wish. Any other things going once, going twice?
Andrew.
Oh, have one over here. Thank you.
Question for you, Andrew. I have a comment about the item in Yari's slides about V6 only on the IETF network. Is now a good time to make that comment?
About V6 only. So you will note that the IAB made a statement that was pretty careful about what things it claimed. And one of the things, of course, the IAB never claims is what will happen in the future, because the IAB does not have perfect knowledge of the future. And if we did, we would all invest and be richer. So instead, what we suggested is that there are these possibilities for the future. And one of the possibilities is that only V6 is going to be possible. I think, I mean, speaking only personally, I think it would be interesting to run an IETF in which the default SSID had V6 only, and we had, instead of the IETF V6 only network, that was the IETF network and we had an IETF v4, v6 network or something like that. I think that would be interesting for us, an interesting experience for those of us who haven't done that. But that's my personal view. I don't want to.
I'd like to take that a step further, and I'd like to provide a little bit of background. So one of the things that we're working on is, and my name is John Brzezowski from Comcast, by the way. We've been very active deploying V6 for years, and I think everybody recognizes that. We really needed it to kind of support our business needs. One of the things that is upcoming for us is we will be taking a brand new building that we're building in Philadelphia, be our kind of a new headquarters building, and it will be V6 only for end user devices at a bare minimum. V6 only in the form, but we will support, for example, NAT64 to support any remnants of V4 communications that are going to be needed, for my coworkers, right? The people I work with, they're my customers at work. They're the different set of customers. So one of the things that we're seeing is with the increase in V6 utilization, not only use of V6 but also traffic, that V4 is effectively declining. The use of it is declining, right? So I had exchanged some emails with a number of my compatriots here within the IETF, as well as some folks, Yari, Randy, Jim Martin, and some other folks, with a proposal or a suggestion. One of the things that we think makes a lot of sense is for this community in particular to get to a place where the primary SSID and the primary network that we use when we come here, for us to start to outline a path forward that looks like V6 only, and even if it includes NAT64, would someday, and the day being to be determined, that we turn off IPv4. I don't aim to, to me this is not an experiment, right? To me this is us eating our own dog food. So the suggestion that we've kind of laid out, and and the advice that I got from Yari and others is to get feedback from the community, is we'd like to kind of lay out a very much an incremental plan that says, over these n number of meetings, we kind of gradually start to move ourselves toward this primary network connection. We will provide a backup connection that will be, of course, dual stack, because we all recognize that we have day jobs. But with the ultimate goal to get to a place where every future IETF meeting has its primary SSID as V6 only, with NAT64 as kind of the help to get to V4. And then, of course, in cases where that does not exist, people would have the opportunity to flip back to, say, an IETF-dual stack network connection. I'll pause there to see, if there are any comments or.
Why don't you stop there?
Yeah, so just from my perspective, I personally, like Andrew, would like to see some of this, and I think the incremental approach is exactly what we need. And so taking practical steps forward that we have, fault tolerant setups and whatever else that we need, and ultimately we'll be in place where most of this community can use the V6 only network and not feel any pain. I think that's an excellent approach for us to do. My opinion, of course, only. So whatever you guys say is more important.
Yari, this is Lee Howard down here at the end. How would you like us to write that plan? Would you like to see an internet draft? Would you like to see email? Would you like to talk about it now?
Maybe not now, unless you can the next 30 seconds, but internet draft would be great. And actually, the format doesn't matter so much, but it needs to be a collaboration between, people, different people, not just, the hardest V6 geeks.
Hey, Russ, do you remember IETF 71?
Very well.
Yeah, Mark Townsley, by the way. Yeah, we turned off IPv4 for an hour, and it was very educational because that was a long time ago. There you go. Right on, John. So, I think it's about time that we make V6 only NAT64, which should work on all of his devices. This is David, he works for Apple. Or else you don't get into the store and we might have to talk to Spotify or whoever was having a problem. It should work on your devices as well. That's Google. With your 464XLAT thingy, right? Which is built in. So we have two different ways, both documented, and it should work on all your Androids and your Apples. I don't know about Thaler's devices. I don't know about the Windows. But, maybe. But we should be doing that. And you know what? We wouldn't be the first ones. There are other technical conferences of size that are doing this already. Okay. And I'd be happy to take my Andrew Yortachenko, who has done this again and again and again, to come help and do whatever technical support in the knock. You know, here I am, you know, signing off on his travel budget right now. But to go help John make that happen at the Comcast hosted IETF, and just make it the default. And during the plenary, we turn off the NAT 6.4 again, just for kicks.
So I'm going to cut the mic lines because we have 2 more bodies up here that get to be the recipients of this excellent discussion. So I have 2 people. I have Spencer and. Are you done?
I am done. I'm just
Okay, so I have 2 people. So start over here.
Spencer Dawkins. I wanted to thank the IAB for sending Brian Trammell to come talk to TSV area today about protocol transitions. Dave Thaler introduced that for us in Berlin, and we continued that conversation in a transport context about transition, you know, what transition means for transport protocols. I thought that was a really helpful session. I wanted to thank you all for doing that work and for sending smart people to come talk to us after you did it.
Thank you.
Hi, David Skenazy from Apple. I just wanted to say that I fully support John's initiative. I really would like this to happen. And the main reason for that is dog fooding. Like IPv6 only with NAT 6.4 isn't a research project anymore. It's real life deployments. T-Mobile, for example, has been running this for all their customers in the US on Android for a while, and starting with the betas, they're doing it for iOS as well. A lot of us here are engineers. A lot of us write code. If you were to write it on a network like this, you would realize that every so often your software that you're writing doesn't work when your device doesn't have a v4 address anymore. So this initiative, I think, would help improve a lot of the software that we as a community are writing to help the transition to IPv6.
Thank you. Okay, well, with that, I will invite the IAB to sit down, and I forget who is up next.
IAOC.
IOC and the Trust and the IAD, please.